yes, this is my job. I'm going to make money from it, but I want to educate someone so that they have the best experience possible and they know that I am on their side at the end of the day. And, with Instagram, I'm able to portray that.
Hello and welcome to episode 19 of the Smart Agents Podcast. My name is Michael Walter and I'll be your host. As always, with each new episode, our goal is to inspire you through the insight and inspirational stories from your fellow real estate professionals. Now, before we get into today's featured interview, make sure you follow and subscribe to the show on whatever platform you listen to podcasts. You can find us on all major podcasting platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. Also, as you can see if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the Smart Agents YouTube channel. Click the bell to get notification when each new episode is uploaded. And lastly, if you or somebody else on your team has an awesome story to share, send us a message at feedback@smartagents.com. We're always on the lookout for new stories to share. All right, on to today's featured interview. So at this point, social media is not a new thing, and if you aren't marketing yourself in some way on it, you're just flat out missing out. And while each platform has its pros and cons, if utilized correctly, Instagram can be a great way to really ingrain yourself as a market expert. Today we chat with Florida-based Katie McGowen, and she shares her tips for using Instagram to position yourself as the community authority. I guess, just kind of getting started out, could you tell me a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're at in the country, and how long you've been in the real estate profession?
Yeah, so I'm Katie McGowen. I've been doing real estate almost 6 years now. I'm located in Southwest Florida, so I basically cover like Cape Coral down through Naples and inward as far as LaBelle. I'm originally from Wisconsin, but I've been here for 16 years now. So, I basically grew up here, but that's still my home. I sell residential real estate and I love it. I work with my dad. We're on a team together. My sister is also our admin. So it's kind of a family business. And yeah, that's about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's great to be able to do, keep it in the family.
Yep, for sure.
It's great. So one of the things we were talking about was that you are really into Instagram and, using that platform to get yourself out there as a realtor in your community. Tell me a little bit about how you're using that.
So, with Instagram being such a broad horizon where I can reach an unlimited amount of people, I'm really using that platform now to educate the public, whether it's someone here in Florida or in Wisconsin or California or who knows where. I really just want to use that to tell people, how to buy real estate, what is escrow, all those kinds of things, because I think the common issue with a lot of real estates can be that we are just sleaze bags and we just want to sell you a house and we're never going to see you again. And honestly, at the end of the day, yes, this is my job. I'm going to make money from it, but I want to educate someone so that they have the best experience possible and they know that I am on their side at the end of the day. And, with Instagram, I'm able to portray that over posts and stories and things like that. And obviously, yes, I still use it to, show off listings or homes that I've recently sold, but I've kind of navigated a little bit away from that and more to the educating the public, letting them know everything they could possibly need to know about a real estate transaction, because especially for the younger people, they don't know. And I know the internet has a wealth of knowledge, but you have to take it a lot of times with a grain of salt because you never know what you're clicking on and if it's correct or not, because there's so much stuff out there.
Right. Well, and it is so overwhelming. So if I have somebody that, is in my community or somebody that I know and trust, I'm going to believe that person over the 15 million articles that come up on Google that I don't know. First of all, sometimes it's hard to tell when they were written, how accurate it is to today's environment and just, and does it apply to my local area? Because things are different all over the country. And sometimes, when you Google, I might be in Florida, but I'm getting an article from California and it doesn't really apply to me.
Correct. Yeah. And that's a huge thing is every area is different. Even if you go just north a little bit from where I'm at, real estate's a completely different ballgame. So just because one person writes an article or, makes a post about what that real estate market is doing doesn't necessarily mean that my real estate market is doing that. And I think that can confuse a lot of people and it can worry them at the same time. And they're like, should I be buying right now? Should I be selling? Because like in our market right now, it's definitely a seller's market. There's not a lot of inventory on the market. And a lot of people will put out posts saying, oh, there's no listings out there. And that right there can scare the hell out of a buyer when they're, thinking about buying a house. So, but at the same time, it's really not that scary, because if you have the right tools and you come prepared, the chances of getting something accepted as far as an offer goes is much greater than just going in cold and being like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So that comes, back around to me educating someone on all the steps they need to do to get what they want as far as real estate goes.
Right. So with that, what are you doing? What are some of the things that you do to, what are the postings? What kind of educational, information are you giving out to people to kind of help?
So like yesterday I made a post, and this one was geared I guess it could be geared towards newer buyers who are about to buy a house. But I put out a post about, a home ownership checklist and basically things you should do every single month to, keep up with the maintenance in your home. A lot of people don't think about some of the things on there, cleaning out your dryer vent, once a year or twice a year. And yeah, again, you can Google some of this stuff, but half the time it's geared to someone who lives up north. And I'm sorry, but in December, I don't have to worry about a blackout because of the snow. It's 80 degrees outside right now. Right. So I'm more worried about other things. So right. I put things out like that. And, just like, what is escrow? What is a home inspection? Why you need a home inspection? Walking through the buyer process, just things like that, because a lot of people have no idea, until I got in this business, I would have never had a clue. And, I recently just built my own new home, and I was able to document that on social media to show people that I know what you're going through. I'm not just Joe Schmo who's never bought a house. I have no idea. I know the pains you go through. I probably cried 50 times because, being self-employed, it's a lot worse than, a regular, you get a salary every week. So, posting things like that and just showing people, okay, here's the process of new construction, what's going on, where it's at, how long it's going to take. I think that's super helpful too.
Right. Well, and I think that the really smart thing about the way you're doing that is you are, the great thing about Instagram, as opposed to, just posting something on a blog or something that has to, that has to be searched, is you're getting your name out there and your face out there as a person of knowledge when people aren't even really actually looking for that. It could just be somebody in your community that's scrolling through and they see that checklist of these are the things you need to do. And they may have, been thinking about something totally different, but how many times you scroll through your phone, you're like, oh, check that out. And then you go down this rabbit hole and, that's just getting your article out there without, and your knowledge out there without, having, when somebody's not necessarily looking for that.
Yeah, for sure. And, the other thing I do too is I post a lot about the community. Myself and my husband, we eat out a lot, and I like to eat at the local restaurants. And I can't tell you how many times I get text messages or calls from clients of mine or friends of mine that have seen my post on Instagram. And they're like, hey, where is that? It looks really good. Would you recommend going there? And, it comes back to staying top of mind. A measly little post of a picture of my food at dinner, it's just helping me help them and staying top of mind, because I can't tell you at the same time how many referrals I've gotten from something like that, just because people are constantly remembering me for being not only the real estate person, but the go-to in the community as far as where they want to go to eat, what they want to do this weekend, all of that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, who are you going to buy? Like, who would I feel more comfortable with selling my home from? Somebody that doesn't know anything about my community, or somebody that is so plugged into the community that knows every little, mom and pop place and all the great little finds for a family. That's what I'm looking for.
Yep, for sure. And I just think that's a huge benefit. And, some people say, oh, you're wasting your time. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. I want to be that wealth of knowledge for everyone in my community that knows, hey, Katie probably knows about a new restaurant. Let's call her, not only real estate related, because at the end of the day, it comes back full circle.
Right. And the thing about, doing that, that type of content marketing, I guess it's not necessarily, it's not a quick, when like you're building, you're continuing to build your brand and your reputation that, over the course of your career is just going to keep building on top of itself, and all those referrals and all those people will continue to come back to you. So, it might be 5 or 6 referrals this year, but next year it might be 15, 16, 17, and it's just going to keep rolling on itself.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's a huge benefit for obviously me, because this is my job. This is what I do every day. So. Right.
What kind of tips would you give to people that, are kind of dabbling in the Instagram? I see a lot of people that, they have an Instagram page and they'll just kind of maybe put this is my listing thing. Well, it's not that difficult to do what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like if you go on my Instagram page and you look back to the very beginning when I started posting 5 years ago, oh my gosh, it is horrible. Like, I'm just like amazed at, like the level of my content and, like the way it was marketed, like, obviously I was learning at that point too. I was scared too. And then you look at what it has evolved to today. And honestly, I mean, first thing is just post. You never know who's watching, and you're never going to get started if you don't. Learn the hashtags in your area. That's a big thing. You don't want to just put all real estate related, because a lot of times other agents are following those and they're going to follow you for that. But yes, that's great, because you can obviously work on getting agent referrals from other people. But at the same time, you want to reach your local people here too. And, just be yourself. I think that's a huge thing. Tell a story in your post, not just, hey, this is my new listing, 3-bedroom, 2-bath listed for 200,000. That's great. But if you can paint a picture with your posts, it's going to mean so much more. And, people are going to be able to envision what you're talking about instead of just being very cut and dry.
How do you plan out? Do you plan out, kind of your schedule of what you're going to be doing, or is it kind of more spur of the moment?
It's a little bit 50-50. I have a whole notebook full of ideas of things that I want to do. So obviously I work on those, but I also may be out at the beach and, snap that perfect picture and I just put that up there, or my dog does something cute and I put that up there, or, stuff like that. So it's not necessarily 100% planned. I personally don't like to plan everything down. I'm a very spur of the moment type of person. And I don't want people to think that I've, just basically hired someone to create all my content. And it's, every single day, at 5:00, Katie's going to post something. Like I want it to feel like it's actually me posting it, not hiring someone to do everything for me.
Right. And I think also mixing up the way you're doing the post, whether that be, graphics or photos, and then also, with the stories, doing that walkthrough video type thing is so, the great thing about an Instagram is that you can mix up the mediums.
Yep. And the biggest thing I did recently learn, and this was huge for me, is putting myself out there. Like a lot of times people don't know who I am. They don't know what I look like because I'm posting houses or, questions or graphics or whatever. So that's a big thing that I'm working on this year, is actually showing you who I am, whether it's my family or me, actually seeing what I am, because that's obviously going to relate to other people too. Because they could say, oh, she's obsessed with her dogs. I love dogs. You know what I'm saying? So things like that. I think that's a big one too.
Right. Well, that is just that facial recognition that you'll continue to get. I mean, it kind of goes back to that whole, like, why do you think like all those lawyers, every one of their billboards has them standing there so you can see their face, and getting that facial recognition is definitely an important piece of the puzzle.
Yep, for sure. I couldn't agree more, honestly.
I really want to thank Katie for joining us today. I think she nailed it when talking about how you just can't use Instagram to show off your latest listing. So once again, if you think you or somebody else on your team has an awesome story or tip to share with our community, send us a message at feedback@smartagents.com. Well, that wraps things up for this episode, but remember, follow the show wherever you listen to podcasts, and make sure you subscribe to the Smart Agents YouTube channel. Again, I'm Michael Walter, and I'll see you on the next episode.